Pickaxe.
Hello and welcome back to the Review of Death, your fortnightly home for Doctor Who news and reviews. I am Matthew Toffolo. I am joined as ever by Billy Garrett John, and this week we are also joined by my big brother, Jonathan Toffolo, aka Hanky Wrangler, 7th Doctor fan extraordinaire. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening.
We're here to discuss the power of the Doctor, not only Jodie Whittaker's final story, but the Centenary special of Doctor Who. Kind of like the 60th anniversary, but not.
Minus one.
Minus one, yeah. And yeah, well, let's just
Should we get
go
into it?
straight into it, really. What did we all think? I mean, well, I know what we think.
Yeah.
On this side.
Can I go down the line? Because you guys have obviously
Yeah.
kind of heard what each other would have to say.
Okay.
Am I alright to start with you, Johnny?
Yeah?
Can you tell us what you thought?
To quote Tom Baker, what's wrong with this whippet shit?
Okay, excellent. Matt, along the same lines?
Yeah, I haven't got anything amusing to say about that. It felt like a child had eaten a load of sweets, had been sick onto the camera, and then if you sort of sifted through the sugary sweetness of fancy colours and special effects, there were a few nice little bits and pieces in there. But not much underneath it all.
Substance.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
very little substance.
A story of two halves, I would
Right.
say. The first half being pretty...
Sorry, there was a story.
Yeah,
There was a
Saying that-
story.
what was the plot?
There was a plot.
Yeah.
well, that's the problem. Everything to do with the kind of individual story that they were telling
Yeah,
kind of fell apart for me.
yeah.
But like the last half an hour, I thought was great.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We watching the same programme?
Yes.
I can't really
okay.
remember what happened in the last
I
half
mean,
an hour.
I don't know how we're gonna crack this nut really.
Well,
'cause
I was thinking about this and I was like, well, if we go through it as it happens,
Beat by beat.
chronologically, yeah. I feel like it's going to be so front-loaded with this was shit, this doesn't make sense.
That's the problem.
So maybe we should, for the sake of people's sanity at home, maybe we should talk about what we enjoyed about it first.
that I actually split my notes into pros and cons.
Okay.
So should we crack
Let's
into
go.
that?
What was good about the power of the Doctor?
I think it does kind of go a bit chronologically. I thought that the space train setup
I quite
and
like that.
the effects.
Yeah.
I thought this looked really good.
Yeah.
I thought that they had a really, really great team. Who is it? Double Negative? Is that what they're called? They did all like Blade Runner movie 2084 or whatever it was called. I thought
Double the amount of money.
Yeah.
exactly. But I thought, considering the fact that Legend of the Sea Devils looked cheap,
Yeah.
and the editing didn't help the overall effect of it.
Yes.
I thought that this was a big jump up.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of the way it ran, in terms of the way it looked. And then the cons. No, I mean, look.
I mean, I agree. I liked that opening sequence
Yeah.
on the train. I thought it was...
I didn't.
No,
No,
you didn't.
no.
I thought it was sort of Bond-esque, It felt like the
Yeah.
opening to a Bond movie,
Yeah.
This is our little prelude into what will become the wider adventure.
And
I thought the Cybermen were shit, though. Why do they keep
right.
dying?
I know.
They came in and was like...
It was appalling.
I
It was
was,
so bad.
I was
Yeah.
thinking when they were on the floor, I thought no one's learnt their lesson about the Cybermen.
No.
And then at least they do the regeneration thing, and you think, oh, okay, well that's different, and they're the Cybermasters. And I thought that they looked cool as like a one-off.
They look better in this one,
Yeah.
certainly, than they did in...
That one when
the
they
time
went
Children.
yeah.
Because they've updated the masks a bit, so they haven't got the faces don't look
No.
as derpy and
Yeah, yeah,
weird.
yeah.
And I love the Time Lord texturing.
Yeah, it was quite cool actually. On all,
yeah.
even on like the basic ones.
Yeah.
And because they weren't. Some of them were like silver Cybermen. The ones that attacked Unit were silver
They were just
Cybermen.
normal.
Ordinary
yeah.
ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then the ones on the planet and on the train were like
Were the
these,
Cybermasters.
these grey ones with the Time Lord glyphs or whatever.
The only problem I had with them was that, and it's something that I wasn't massively fond of necessarily with the Cybermen, but there was no way of, I mean, obviously they centered on the Cyberman that was talking at the time, but I feel like they needed a bulb in the mouth just so you could get that coming across, because
dialogue is very hard to hear.
You're just staring at a mask, and there's nothing moving on it, and that can be very threatening. But when it's just reaming off dialogue, we are your cybermasters, da 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 da. There's nothing to connect with. So I think it needed the blue light behind the mouth slit or something, just to kind of make it pop a bit more on camera. I have to say as well, so I guess we're kind of doing it chronologically. I thought Dan's exit was kind of as well handled as it could have been. Because look, he was an ingredient in this story that would have just added to the clusterfuck.
Oh my God!
Do you know what I mean?
I said partway through, I was like,
thank God he isn't in this. You know,
because it would have just like said it being another person.
Yeah, and so if they had to get rid of him, one and done.
Yeah.
And I thought the way it was, quite subtle. He gets the thing, the hole in his mask, and he looks at the helmet and thinks, all right, this is too heavy now. I almost died. He was in peril in flux.
Yeah.
But he was, it all kind of kicked off in the train sequence. And I thought, if you have to get rid of him, do it quickly, and then we can move on with the story.
Yeah. It was quite funny, actually, because then when he turns up later on, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that you were even in this story. You were in it so fleetingly. It's quite funny, all of the... I think we kind of guessed that he wasn't going to be in it much from the press stuff.
True.
He was sort of like, oh yeah, I deal with the Cybermen at the start.
Also the illusion, and we were sort of talking about it as well, I think we kind of mentioned, is he going to die?
Yeah.
And I think that they kind of teased that inevitability quite well. Like there were a couple of instances when he jumped off the ladder and when he was being shot at where he could have easily died.
Wouldn't have been better if he'd been killed.
And so I thought, let's just, nip it in the bud, get him out of the way. Let's kind of move on with the rest of the story. And I thought that was fine. I liked the good Daleks' reasoning for turning on the Daleks. Like, it was about the preservation of the Carleds, and now it's about the Daleks, and that's not right. I think, bloody hell, it's taken you this long to bloody cotton onto that? All right, but, I thought if you have to have a reasoning... I think the problem with the whole thing, for me, was it was contrivance upon contrivance upon contrivance. And when they all build up, and you've got loads of plates spinning, and you're in St. Petersburg in 1916.
I was just going to say, there are too many locations, there are too many places in this story. It's, like you said, it's just this hodgepodge, isn't it? And you think, what actually is going on? Just tell the story.
Nothing felt tethered down. It was
you're on a train. You're on a Cyberman planet. You're in Bolivia. You're in Naples. You're in
Cyberman
London.
planet in 2 different time periods.
Oh you're that. You're in Russia.
Indonesia at the end when they flash to all the different volcanoes.
Oh really? Oh bloody hell! Well, that's 8 locations already.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
And I think that was the problem with it. And it's been a problem with Chris Chibnall's writing, is that he has too many ideas and nothing, it's like he's got one pot boiling of a really good idea here, but then he's got to work on another ingredient and he forgets that. And it's just the whole thing just kind of falls apart. Like, for example, and I think that he was the best thing in it, Sacha Dhawan as the Master. I thought he was brilliant.
What, in that story?
Yeah.
You thought he was brilliant?
I thought he was great. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I loved him. I thought he was fantastic.
He's terrible. He's like the Joker, but that's awful.
Would you rather John Sim over Sacha Dhawan?
John Sim in his latter one, I thought played it much more subtly. I liked him like that. Not in the early stuff. I don't know.
I've never been a fan of like the megalomaniac cracked sort of master thing, but...
And he had some terrible lines. That line to Kate Stewart, like, oh, I hated your dad, or your dad was an idiot. That was such an unmastery thing to say. No, Billy, it's appalling. Roger Delgado would not have said that.
I can't tell if it's the purple lighting or you are getting red.
No, it was terrible. It was so out of character. I didn't like that. I thought that was poor.
What did I say last night? What he should have said? Oh no, I thought he should have turned around to Kate and said, "Oh, you're not half the man your dad was."
Yeah,
that would have been more of a low blow.
Because that would have been true. Like, I mean. They don't have much luck getting cyber converted, the Lethbridge Stewarts, do they?
No.
I mean, her dad went the same way.
Yeah.
And I thought
if you believe that shit, but I don't.
Well, exactly. Yeah. God, let's not even get into that. I'd rather retcon that than the bloody Timeless Child, if I'm honest. Oh, let's talk about that actually. So the cargo on the ship, on the train.
Yeah.
So it opens and it's a little girl, and you go, and I saw it. I went, no, we're not doing this again. Or okay, if we're going to do this, this has got to be the resolution to it. But it's not. It's that spindly octopus thing.
And
it was like,
And it was weird because...
And she looked really fed up as well when you see her
heart
and that face.
They have tethered that child to the cyber planet.
In real life. Like she's just struggling on a green screen.
Let me down, please.
Please.
And it did make me think, it was like, did it need to be a kid?
It didn't need to be a kid.
They could have just opened it up and it could have been an octopusy squiggly
Whatever it was,
And you could have gone,
whoa, what is that?
Yeah.
At least that's like a question mark.
I did put down what it was called. It was called a...
Yeah, I forget.
Quincy Jones. It's called a Quarrant.
Quarrant. Yeah, Quarrant. Something like that.
Something like that.
Quarrant. Oh, whatever.
And to think as well, it's like, I know the Master's responsible, and we'll get into what killed Jodie in the end, but for that to be the thing that killed her?
I know.
Yeah. It felt like an afterthought. It was like, oh shit, we haven't
killed her off. What should we do? Oh no, oh quick.
But it's like, it's his tissue, it's his TCE.
Yeah.
What did it do? What did it do to the thing
to
make it flat?
I don't know. It flipped it around.
It's so weird.
But what, like, so his TCE is like the Sonic, it just kind of does
It
whatever.
seems like it, because it seems to be doing it, because didn't he use it to activate...
That thing when they went into disco mode.
Oh, when they went
crazy, that bit. I turned to Matt and said, what's happening?
You were that Dalek turning to the Cyberman.
What is this?
Would you take that over the Scissor Sisters in the Series 3 finale?
No, the Scissor Sisters is much better.
It's
I can't
subtler,
remember.
isn't it? It's not
That's too long
disco-like.
ago. I don't remember.
I mean, the Doctor when he's an old man in the wheelchair and he's spinning him
I can't
around.
decide whether you should...
I don't remember. Too long ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd sooner have that.
Okay.
It felt less incongruous.
Was the Rasputin thing just to do that?
I think so.
Because what was the painting thing about?
That was insane. Those paintings.
What was the seismologist thing about?
I just... incredulity. I just looking at those paintings. It was so bad.
It was like the worst of the Moffat. We have to kind of just do something that's there's a hook.
Yeah.
To contrive the Doctor to be interested enough to follow this thread that she then eventually meets the Master.
Yeah.
Why don't they just do away with that?
Yeah.
And focus on the person who was really poorly served in this story. And it's the person who regenerated at the end.
Yeah, she had so little to do.
Was this a centenary? Did Chris write this and go, this is for the centenary special, or for Jodie, who is your leading actor, who is leaving at the end of the story?
Yeah.
And, I mean, we'll get into all that, but...
I mean, the Rasputin thing... I just don't get it. What was the point? Why was he Rasputin?
I don't know.
And was he always Rasputin? Is Rasputin the Master? Or did he just take his place?
I would assume so.
Took his place, I assume. No? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think Christian.
If you know, please write in on a postcard or whatever, an envelope to P.O. Box. I know that's...
Don't dox us.
Everyone knows where the Yogscast are based, so it's fine.
And that's, another Rasputin thing, talking about leaving kind of interesting ideas and then just dispensing with them. So I mentioned to you, I thought, the Doctor's going to die because of something to do with the Master's hypnosis.
Right.
Because I thought he's going to have some sort of control over Yaz or something.
Yes, yeah.
And that'll do her in. That's what I thought. They signpost the fact that the Master can hypnotise people, and it's made more obvious in this story than it ever has been in any other new series story.
Yeah, very much
he does
so,
it twice in his opening scene.
Yeah.
He then has that conversation later with Yaz in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
You think, this is the perfect time to do the gimmick you've just set up. But it's just totally forgotten about. And it's like it's a first draft where he's gone, here are loads of ideas I'll come back to and I'll flesh out when I do later versions of it.
Yeah.
But they were just left in.
Yeah.
And nothing was sort of substantiated or built upon. No. And which is annoying because I thought they were flourishes of like, that's interesting, that might work.
Yeah.
But it didn't sort of come together at the end.
It just gets muddled down because then you have the Dalek thing and you think, well, why are they really even in this?
Yes,
what's the point? They seem sort of superfluous. I don't really get the whole volcano thing.
No.
So they want to use all the volcanoes are going to erupt and then just destroy the Earth.
And it's weird, like,
they'll turn the Earth into a Dalek foundry, is what he said.
I think,
why use the Daleks? You've already got all those Cybermen. Why get them to do it?
Yeah. Or why doesn't the Master just do it?
Yeah.
Why doesn't the Master just let a bunch of volcanoes off? He's the ultimate villain. He could live in a hollowed out volcano. You know what I mean? Like,
or was it so that they could get her inside that Dalek and then zap her to that?
But then why was she in a Dalek casing?
I know, it was a bit weird. It was.
What was that about?
But there was one good Dalek voice.
There was a good,
there was one.
There was one good Dalek voice. So well done.
Which one? That was.
The second time round I watched it, I was like, I just want to check he did register.
Yeah,
he did.
It was good.
Good.
I like
the
that.
Dalek voices were very good in this story.
Yeah.
That's the 1 out of 10 that you give it.
That's on the poster. Good Dalek voices. Well done, Nick.
Well done, Nick. You've earned your money.
And the Cybermen were quite good. The Cybermen actually had a bit more...
They had a bit more personality in their voice. They weren't all stomping.
And I think it needed it, because the Cybermen had quite a bit of dialogue. Speaking of Cybermen, Ashard, why was he back?
Yeah, that was weird.
And why? And so
I'm so glad I cloned you.
Cloned you, yeah.
What? Why?
Yeah,
why do you have to
did
say
you do
that?
that
Why
for?
can't it be Ashard?
I know.
Because they don't like each other. And in DWM, Patrick O'Kane, who plays Ashard, said it was great to be back on the set with Sacha Dhawan because they're villains, they're arch nemesis, and they were sparking off each other. Now, I don't know if that was cut from the final episode.
Exactly,
but then it also made me think, are you just saying stuff in these DWM previews that's not true to misdirect people? In which case, that's not an interview.
No, it's not.
You've wasted my time and this
lie.
paper printing
As the
all this
Cyberman
stuff.
says, that was designated a lie.
Yeah,
there was a... He says of Ashard, I killed him once, but he's forgiven me now. Yeah. And that was it. That was the...
And then, I'm so glad I cloned you, and he got broken out. It's like,
that was it. And then I was just like, well, why isn't this just a cyber leader doing this? Why is it him?
We've got a cyber leader.
Yeah.
We've got a cyber master cyber leader.
I mean, it was clearly just a thing like, we'll just bring him back because he was... People liked him as a last story.
And do you know what? The best bit of the Cybermen in this was when he went on that one-man army.
He killed all
that was good.
And it made me think, just have him versus the whole of unit. Lock the whole of unit down.
Yeah.
And it's just him going floor to floor, up, like the raid. To get to them at the top of the building, and then they have to go back down again or something. But like the cyber, they had a cyber conversion chamber, and it was like, so you're converting people, but like I don't understand why they were in this story. I don't understand why the Daleks were in this story.
No.
It was just too many elements, I think, and it all just conspired to bring the whole thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of things, I know we're supposed to be talking about the things we liked.
We've moved on.
Done that. It was the Dalek voice. We've already said.
But staying on the line of things we didn't understand, the Master's plan.
Yes.
The Master's Dalek plan.
That
was a good line. Come on, Johnny.
It was not good. It was appalling. I'm sorry.
See, I didn't mind the Master's Dalek
I didn't
plan.
like it.
I thought that was a fun wink to... I mean,
there were lots of little winks, weren't there? But I just didn't like that one.
I've dressed for the occasion. Yeah. There was obviously we mentioned the I am the Master and you will obey me.
Tegan, Auntie Vanessa.
Auntie Vanessa, Ace with the...
Okay, before we get onto the Master's plan then, let's talk about Tegan and Ace as a positive. Because I really enjoyed the inclusion of Tegan and Ace. That initial scene, that phone call conversation, probably some of the worst
that was not good.
Dialogue ever committed to screen.
Well, it's that I haven't seen him for 38 years, but it's like, you're old, we get it.
I'm in Romania, where those
Scientologists
all went missing. Oh, really? I'm at the museum, where all those paintings went missing.
And it's like, well, the Romania thing never comes up again.
No.
All the seismologists are having a meeting in Naples. Why seismology? Why was the seismologist
Because
thing
otherwise, a seismologist would have gone, oh, that's a bit weird. There's a lot of lava earthquakes and a lava flow changing at the moment. We better go and have a look at that. Oh shit, Daleks.
Okay, but there's nobody else monitoring that laptop
Apparently not.
with the graph going like that with the earthquake monitor.
Oh, hello? Has anyone spoken to Dr. Smith about this? Oh no, he's on holiday. Oh right, okay, well, just leave it then.
Never mind.
I'm sure it's fine. It'll just look after itself. I mean, Ace and Tegan, they were great to revisit. I think Ace in particular, she really sort of felt like she hadn't been away from the show.
Yeah.
Yes, and you had that kind of. I mean, we'll get on to the kind of the big Ace scene.
Yeah.
When she's talking to a certain person, she shows that kind of childlike, when she's kind of talking into her chest kind of thing. And then when she says, "Last time I saw you, you were a cat." She has that kind of like venom thing, that kind of teenage anger thing. Sophie was brilliant.
She was excellent.
And I thought Janet was good as well.
Yeah.
And it was great to have her back, and nice that she got a little bit of kind of, she got to speak to her doctor and do the whole "I missed you" thing and all that. I mean, she still seemed like quite a moan at the end of it. It's like, yes, I will come on board the TARDIS.
Yeah.
It's like,
but I think that was good fun.
Same old Tegan.
Yeah, and that's what you wanted, don't you? You want that from Tegan.
Of course.
Much in the same way as you wanted Ace bashing Daleks.
With
that's
the
character, isn't it?
That's the character.
And, flying out of bloody parachutes and stuff. It was all good fun. I just think the criticism I have there is that there wasn't really enough of them.
I think there was enough.
Do you think? I think I could have happily seen more. I think my criticism would be
they did very little with Jodie.
Well,
yeah, that's my criticism.
And this is the problem, isn't it?
They have that one scene.
And then that's Jodie is very cold.
Well, she's feeling awkward because, and
I also,
there's so many things we're going to need to get into, but the Yaz and Doctor dynamic.
Very interesting.
It's very obvious that whole scene with the four of them was played as "You're meeting my exes."
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, we're still pulling on this Thasmin thread then. Yeah. And we'll talk about
where that
thread led.
Yes.
Where it didn't lead.
I just like when you compare it to. I mean, we're always going to put something like School Reunion on a pedestal because it does that so incredibly well.
Yeah.
And you kind of feel like you just wanted a little bit more of that, like of just a couple of seconds, of just a minute or two of the Doctor and Tegan just
a quiet word in the corner.
Yeah. I mean,
she got that with.
She gets it with Peter, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that was
but it's different.
Yeah.
But you kind of want the Doctor as they are now.
Doctor,
and that was the weird line because we watched this little bit this morning where Tegan's like, "Oh, you didn't tell me that she was young."
Yes,
like,
very odd thing to say.
What would that matter? Your Doctor was Peter Davison.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, exactly.
He was young.
He was younger than Jodie.
Yeah.
I guess it was more to kind of be like, it shouldn't be surprising to them that the Doctor's a woman. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, she's more concerned about that. But it's a weird thing to be.
It's a very odd
to
thing.
pick up on, Like, I don't know. Other positives?
Other positives.
The Doctor's coming back.
Shall we go on to the old Doctors?
Yeah. The Guardians of the Edge.
The Guardians of the Edge.
You call them that if you want to, but we'll call them the classic Doctors.
What did you think of that setup? Like, all the Doctors go to this barren wasteland. I quite like the telephone cable thing because it's kind of like, telecommunications, television. Maybe an allusion to that.
I did look at it and think, why?
Okay, but I don't know. I don't know if that's what they were going for.
I was thinking it was like synapses, maybe.
Well,
I don't know.
That's probably more like it.
Or different threads
of
your personality. Place, maybe.
Perhaps.
I don't
know. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a concept that I believe existed in the New Adventures anyway.
Oh, right.
I think Paul Cornell originated this idea that inside the Doctor's head, all of the personalities are still there in some form or other.
Yeah.
I liked it. I mean, it didn't.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I thought it was a very clever way of getting the Doctors back.
Yeah.
Because obviously we haven't really had much from the old Doctors in the new series. So to finally see them, and for them to not really, they didn't really make any reference to the fact that they look different. Or at least Jodie didn't.
No.
She was just like...
Personally, I think they should have left Sylve in that black gown, but we'll come on to that later.
Right. Yes, there'll be a whole segment, guys, later devoted to...
There's a whole episode for that.
But otherwise, I thought they did a very nice job. I thought it made a lot of sense putting them in those robes.
Yeah, it did.
Rather
it was
than
good.
squeezing them
and
in.
I liked the kind of roundily kind of thing they had going on with their collars.
At first I thought...
like Marco Polo.
William Hartnell was in...
William
Hartnell. David Bradley was in Marco Polo outfit.
Yeah.
No, it was great. What about you?
I liked the kind of... I liked the bickering with... Of course, there's one that doesn't turn up in the outfit.
Yeah,
that was lovely.
Yeah.
And, Paul he looks great.
He does, doesn't he?
He's fishing for that miniseries. Yeah. I mean, my God,
I think that's probably why he's
kept the outfit.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. I'm not putting any robes on.
No,
I've still got the costume.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if they see me in it, they might give me a job.
Exactly. Yeah. I thought it was brilliant, and it was a proper like when he saw David Bradley. I thought, I mean, if it's just going to be him and Jodie having this conversation,
that would be slightly disappointing.
And then Colin appears.
Yeah.
I just go, oh my days. I'm disappointed that we didn't get. I mean, there was no way in because there weren't any companions in the main story for Colin to come back. But I'm disappointed he didn't really get his little moment. You know, on screen.
Yeah.
Maybe he could have visited Kate Stewart. Or something.
Yeah, anything. You know, that would have been neat. But
Bonnie Langford at the end.
Bonnie,
Bonnie,
good.
Bonnie was in there.
Yeah.
It's all your fault. If you hadn't got on that bloody exercise bike, I would still be here.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought that whole thing was great, and you know, obviously another contrivance having the spark and the implant thing, which is another kind of like fine, whatever. But if it's a means to an end where you get the scene with Tegan and you get the scene with Ace, then it's fine.
You can see past that, can't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought what a really nice touch in those kind of like conversations they were having was for a split second in each one. The hologram effect completely disappeared, and they had no effect on their voice.
It's on the emotional beat of each conversation.
And I thought that's a really nice touch. And it happened once or twice when Jodie was talking to Yaz in the TARDIS when she first appeared.
Okay.
But only very fleetingly. Yeah. And I you know, I liked the kind of the emotional inhibitors are telling me that you're angry with me. That line was nice and. You know, this thing worked. I'm dead. Oh, I mean, that's not great. And all that stuff I thought was good. I mean, having the Doctors back, it's almost like what everybody wanted or expected from the 50th.
Very much so.
If they were going to do classic Doctors coming back, this is how they were going to do it.
Exactly, and I mean, it was always our big complaint about the 50th is that you know there could have been a way to do it, and I think Chris Chibnall probably did it the best way you're probably ever going to do it.
Definitely.
So. If that's the only takeaway I have from his era is that, well, at least he did...
He got them back.
He got them back and he did it well.
In a great way,
I read today that they did ask Tom Baker, but Tom declined.
Yes, he wasn't available.
He wasn't available. I mean, whether that's because of frailty or... I'm not doing it if there's any other doctors.
No. And how much are you paying?
5,000 quid.
And obviously no Matt Smith and no Chris, you know, so that was that. Shall we talk about another Doctor who was very poorly served in this story, who we thought, I mean, she's obviously going to turn up.
The fugitive Doctor.
Yeah.
Wow, yes.
And the Doctor is in the glass cabinet and she clocks the fugitive Doctor and doesn't go, can we finally have this conversation about where you fit into this?
Absolutely.
And she doesn't. And then I was thinking, well, does that mean that, and it goes for the Yaz thing as well, it was all resolved in previous stories that she kind of went, you know, it doesn't matter where I'm from or if I don't know my past, all that matters is that me now and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, fine, but for the audience at home, for the fans, we're, you know, it would be useful to just kind of have an inkling to know where this all fits in, because you've expanded this so much. It was clearly a bit of a mission statement for him to include the timeless children, and you know, he even mentioned himself it was sort of an allegory to himself being adopted, Chris Chibnall, and not knowing where he was from and you know, his background and stuff. If you're going to add that kind of lore to the show, I don't want to sound like an arsehole, but there's almost a kind of duty with a show like this that you want to tell us a little bit more about the ins and outs of it.
And I think especially when you then leave the last series on sort of a cliffhanger of like, I'm gonna leave the TARDIS to look after this fob watch.
Yeah, the watch.
But don't give it to me unless I ask you to.
Yes.
Yeah, you know. Oh no, actually no. Just don't.
She's never going to ask for it ever again. The TARDIS is going to go. Look, I've had this for ages. Do you want me to file it away or just get rid of it?
I want a scene when either David or Shooty are redecorating the TARDIS and they pull it out. What's this old thing? And chuck it out the TARDIS. Right, forget it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was ridiculous. It was a shame. I mean, it was a nice surprise when she turned up, Jo Martin.
Yeah, not enough and not
But that's been her problem the whole time. Is that she's fleeting.
Yeah.
And I'm, okay, she's going to have her Big Finish box sets and Sacha Dhawan's going to have his Big Finish box sets, but it's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing, no.
It would have just been nice to get a few more certainties about what that all means, but... well.
Oh, well.
Other positives.
Positives.
Graham, I thought his intro was quite sweet. Him and Ace.
That was a nice scene. But
how did he got there? I mean, that was weird. I mean, he just suddenly turns up.
I know.
I
know.
Dear.
I know. What else have I got? Okay. Well, should we talk about the Master Doctor?
Oh God, that was
so weird.
This is what this is what I was saying earlier. Like,
why?
What is his plan?
Yeah.
Well, again, there was a nice little bit that was kind of set up, and an idea that they had, which he says, I'm going to besmirch the name of the Doctor.
Right,
and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make the name of the Doctor mean, it's going to spread fear and horror and terror across the universe.
Right. But that's what we want to do, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
No,
okay.
There was a little line in there about it.
I missed that one.
But
right, I see.
He doesn't. I think he has a conversation with Kate Stewart on like a video call or something, and he's dressed in all the multiple Doctor's outfits.
Too busy
and stuff.
Dressing up.
Yeah, and he says something like that. To allude to it, but he doesn't go anywhere.
He goes to that planet, doesn't he? He sees those two warring planets.
Oh yeah, and that robot thing comes along, that drone, and he says, I'm going to.
But my issue is this whole, I'm going to forcibly regenerate you into me, and all this stuff. Why the hell did he not just fucking do her in? If he wants to dress up like Doctor Who, dress up like Doctor Who. Steal the TARDIS and just be like, yes, I'm the Doctor.
Me.
Hello.
Could he not have said like, look, I've come to the end of my cycle again?
Yeah.
That would have been enough.
That wasn't even
mentioned.
So we had no idea.
It just seems so pointless. It's like, why are you going to all this trouble?
Yeah. But, again, it's sort of like. It was all about the kind of the flair and the kind of, whoa, I can't believe they've gone there and done that. But it was all for kind of what? Like
that's it.
There wasn't enough of a motivation. Exactly.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough of a motivation for it to mean anything when it happened.
Yeah.
So it all kind of fell a bit flat in that way.
It just felt like an excuse to have the Master dress up as Doctor Who.
Yeah. Basically.
With Tom Baker scarves with completely the wrong colours.
Well, I mean,
orange on the Tom Baker scarf, I don't think so.
And the jumper as well, obviously.
And that Lavazzi pullover.
The Lavazzi pullover.
We haven't got to that yet.
Look, we're on the costume. Should we just get into it, Johnny?
Yeah.
Should we just get it out of the way? Should we talk very briefly about the one that the Master was wearing? What was that? What was your... thoughts on that one?
Well, wrong. So
was
wrong.
The Lavazzi one? Was
it? It was, so, but I mean, I wasn't too bothered about him because he's just a nutter, isn't he? But I mean,
let's talk about the main event then.
Yeah.
Let's go to the main event.
Do you want to talk about Peter first?
Let's talk about Peter. Yeah, we haven't really talked about that.
Because you see Peter first, don't you?
Yes. Okay, fine. I liked the "you look different to how the last time I saw you" line. It was, well, you can talk, sort of.
Yeah, that was good.
That was nice.
Yeah, I liked that.
And it's just a kind of a wink and a nudge, like we know.
Yeah.
Let's just move past that.
Yeah,
and just focus on what's going on. That was enough.
I thought that scene was brilliant. I think that was probably one of my favourite scenes of the whole thing.
It was good
because it was just.
It was nicely written.
Nicely written.
It was poignant.
Very well performed.
With the Adric line was nice. I liked that.
Yeah.
And he looked good. I thought his costume was really good.
Yeah. I mean, watching it back this afternoon when we had a little flick through, I thought, I'd have just much sooner have just had a story with this lot back.
Yeah, sure.
You did say that.
It would have been much better.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Right, come on, Johnny. Let's talk about the Sylve scene.
Right then. So
roll up your sleeves. Roll up your sleeves.
Yeah. Well, it was disappointing, shall we say?
Okay.
All of it.
Yeah. From the hat down to his tippy toes.
Obviously we couldn't see him very well. See, with Peter, you saw more of the costume.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you couldn't see that with Sylve, but it was all wrong. Everything was wrong. He did have the chain.
Yeah.
I noticed that, and that was good. But the scarf was one of the Lavazzi one. The jacket wasn't right. The hat wasn't right. He's got his own proper hat. I thought he might have brought his own
with him,
but he didn't. So that was such a shame. The jumper obviously was wrong, and the fact that he tucked it into his trousers like Timon the Rani, what was that about? Ace would have said, well, you're an imposter, you never looked like that when I saw you.
Yeah. Who was this? Everything else is fine.
But that was the big thing.
And the tie was wrong.
And the tie was wrong. He should have had the red braces, really, if he had the trousers tucked in.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a shame. I mean, he was good. I liked it. The scene was good. I liked,
I think he got both of their doctors really well.
Yeah.
Like, don't let off explosives without fair warning. There is that element of he would do that.
Yeah.
And then, all the Braveheart, or should I say Braveheart? All that stuff. I'm trying to do a smoker's voice. All that stuff was lovely, and I thought he wrote them really well. But definitely the Ace and Seven scene was the nicest of them, I thought.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I still think Peter's was. I mean, I liked the
it had more emotional weight. I thought because we don't know what happened to Ace and Seventh Doctor off screen.
That was interesting.
Yeah. And yes, the fact that they had a falling out.
There was a falling out. Yeah.
And you think, well, what would have led to that?
This story decanonised all of Big Finish for Seventh Doctor's stories.
Did it?
Well, yeah, because she said last time I saw you, you were part cat. And she's met the Master since then.
Right.
So cock that up.
I mean, it's all cocked up.
Yeah.
All the
Tiny wine me to put that appalling line.
And her book. Sophie's book.
Oh, yeah. No reference to...
No.
Yeah. Childhood Ends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, well.
Do you think they had that conversation? Yeah, so thank you for coming in, Sophie. Now, if you agree to do this, it does mean that your book is now null and void.
Yes.
How much are you paying me? Yeah, no worries. No problem at all. I thought they were both fabulous scenes. Both
I did like
really
that bit,
nice.
that line about, when a child leaves home, you like to see them fly.
Yeah.
Yes, that was nice, wasn't it? Yeah.
Because it is that whole, he took her under his wing.
Yeah, he did.
Was trying to make her a better person and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I thought it was really, really sweet.
Yeah, very good.
Just a shame about the costume.
Just a shame about the costume.
Because it was really ballsed up, but never mind.
Really ballsed up.
I've just scrolled down to the cons bit here. I think we've covered a lot of this stuff.
We have. We have moaned. Oh, why was Vinder in this story?
Yes. What was his point?
Because John Barrowman wasn't allowed. So he says that he's looking for the Quarinks or whatever it's called.
Did he?
There's a really quick line of dialogue in the ship as he's landing.
That's right. Yeah.
And he says that. I mean, it's it's a contrivance that he's turned up.
Yeah.
It's another pair of hands to help out. But also, I think because I liked the freelancer line he had when he shot the Master.
Yes, that was
interesting. That's a nice way of sort of sorting that out without anybody like Yaz, who was given a gun.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was weird. That whole sequence.
Of all the doctors to say, carry a gun and point it at somebody.
Yeah.
Not her.
No.
Why? Because it's like Chekhov's gun. Nothing happened to it.
Yeah.
You can't just... Where did the gun go? And you think, okay, the Master's in a situation, she's really emotionally unstable, she's upset, I'm in trouble, I could hypnotise her to do something with this.
Yeah.
But nothing happens with it.
It should have been something like she had the gun, then came back later on, and maybe that was the gun and it killed the Doctor.
That was what I thought. Because
it's
featured in the trailer.
And it would have been like, oh shit, I crossed a line that I shouldn't have done, and now look where it's got me.
Yeah.
At the end of my contract, and up the duff.
The gun's in the trailer. It's quite prominently in the trailer. Yeah. It's like, so you're alluding to this thing happening and it doesn't...
So why did she do that? Was it just because she thought he's got more of a chance to escape Unit if she leaves them with Unit?
I mean, that whole thing, why he even bothered to get caught by Unit in the first place, was like Silver in Skyfall, where he purposefully gets caught and put into MI6 just to break out again. And then he's going like, great plan, all about the details. What? You're not explaining any of them. You can't just say it.
It's not a great plan.
No,
it's terrible.
So he comes out and he smashes the thing, and there happens to be a transmat that was left in that little glass thing.
Yeah.
And so at least if you're going to leave these things here, do something to explain how they got there in the first place.
And I thought all that was weird about leaving the figure of the Cyberman
hated
for Tegan.
That. Yeah.
And
the Russian doll.
Why you keep it with you?
Hated
if you knew she was going to keep it with her, why you make it a Cyberman? If it didn't matter, if it was just...
Why not a bomb?
Yeah.
Just a bomb that went off in her bag.
Yeah.
That was disguised as something else, like a little TARDIS or something.
I do like the fact the tissue compression eliminator can be in reverse as well.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it if it can do one, it can kind of do the other. But
well, it hasn't done that since the beginning of. So I'm afraid no, it can't.
The Russian doll thing was like, is that just an excuse for him to be Rasputin and have
that seems to be the case. I think so. Yeah.
But then why not? Why? It's like a crap Genesis arc. All these Cybermen stomping out of
this little.
Why?
And why did it look shit?
Yeah.
Why did it look?
It didn't look like a shard.
It just looked like some weird papier-mâché thing.
It looked like a really low-res, low-polygon PlayStation 1 render of a shard.
I was so confused when it broke open and then a shard
walks out of himself.
Yeah. What is happening?
Yeah. I'm getting to the end of my cons list, I think, actually. That's not too bad.
Oh dear.
Why was she put into a Dalek? Yeah, all of that.
It was sad that Ace and Tegan don't get a proper goodbye.
That I thought was appalling. I hated that.
They went while we were asleep.
Yeah.
It's like
suddenly Yaz is some expert flying the TARDIS. What? She's got a few post-it notes dotted around the place. Sorry, that's nonsense.
I will say, I think series 12 kind of answers that because she's left on Earth with the fugitive Doctor's TARDIS for ages.
She's trying to work out how to fly it, isn't she?
She's trying to figure out how to fly that model of TARDIS. It's a different model of TARDIS, but at least they've kind of planted the seeds.
Speaking of models of TARDIS, the Master's TARDIS, what do we think about that, the Type 75?
I liked the rotor thing.
The square thing.
The square thing floating around. Having the Quarunx thing and then also the TARDIS is buried into the core of the planet. Yeah. It's like have one or the other. I don't quite understand.
Yeah, why have you got both?
Yeah. Like surely it doesn't matter if you've got that thing powering it.
And all this stuff about... but was the whole thing just to power this bloody regeneration thing?
Yeah.
These looms or whatever they were. Were they looms?
Oh, let's not even get into that.
They might as well have been.
Bothered. I think, the idea was that they had that was their generating power to then generate enough power to switch on the cubicles that they were in. That was what I got from it, but I don't know if that's actually
Why have UNIT got in contact with the Galactic Empire for as well?
Yeah,
they've got the Death Star on it. It's a bit weird,
Although, I did notice that Kate Stewart has a proper old UNIT badge on her lapel.
Oh, that's good.
She's got a proper 70s UNIT badge.
Done. It's just about the only interesting thing about Kate Stewart, unfortunately. She's a Stewart, but she's like bloody, bubbling, blubbering when she just gets taken downstairs to the conversion chamber, and she's in there for bloody ages.
Wait, why does it take so long?
Yeah, because imagine if she'd walked out and she was totally normal, but she gets that handle back.
Yeah, that'd be good.
She just has that for life now.
So I agree with Matt. I think the fact that Tegan and Ace didn't get a proper goodbye.
Yeah, it was.
That was. I don't know. I didn't like that.
But it happened with John Barrowman as well. It happened with Captain Jack. he didn't get a proper goodbye.
His line was Lady Ardin saying, I've got to run back to Torchwood because Gwen and blah 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 are doing something, and I
don't know.
Right, the other thing.
Elephant in the room.
Do you want to talk? Yeah, which one is it?
Jodie Whittaker didn't have anything to do in her own finale.
Well, there's that as well.
Is there something else that we need to...
Phasmin.
Phasmin, yeah.
Come on, man.
Phasmin.
Right, and the fact that, again, even in this episode, there's the bit where they put hands against each other's hands in the glass
thing. Yeah. So they do that, that's
Very
right.
Star Trek.
So you're going to do something, right? Because this is within the same episode where... she turns to her and says, "What I said on that beach, by the way, I fucking meant it. I don't love you. We're not doing this." It's like, so that scene on the beach was literally the Doctor saying no. Yeah. There was no even slight attempt at trying to open that out.
No. I thought she was at least going to give her a little kiss.
Yeah, I thought
on the roof of the TARDIS.
Or when
mind you, I hated that.
Did you not like that?
Well, not that. I just hate the fact that she dies and she's regenerating, but I can hold it back to have a cornetto with you on the time. I'm sorry. No, Peter Davison, when he was regenerating, he held it back to try and save Perry. Yeah. And that was so good. It's just bollocks.
But that's not as bad. It's not as bad as the Lap of Honour that Tennant did.
Yeah, he was
awful as well. I hated that as well. No, I hated that as well. Yeah. But I do hate this, that you can just stay...
I mean, if I was dying, I would try and hold back my regeneration to have an ice cream.
At least go to Italy.
Smooch with Mandip Gill. I mean, I was disappointed that it didn't get consummated. Is that the right word? But you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's a kids' show.
Because you think, bloody hell, like it's clearly a thread they've been pulling on.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you get to the end of it, and they kind of chicken out.
Yeah,
like nothing.
It was weird.
It was really disappointing. I thought.
And the way that she left, like, oh, I need to do this on my own.
Yeah, and Yaz is there going like, read the room, Doctor.
Okay.
She's really gutted, and then she's saying, right, fuck off. I'm going to go and look at this sunset on my own.
Yeah, and it's like, why isn't? Yeah, it's like, well, I'm quite happy to stay.
To carry on.
Yeah. There was no real reason for her.
It was odd. Yeah.
And then she leaves her on Earth to go to this self-help group.
Yeah.
And there's that bit where exactly. And there's the bit where Tegan leans to her and says, "Are you okay?" And she's going to say something, and then Ace says, "Is she okay?" And it's like, no, is Yaz okay?
Yeah.
Is she okay?
Yeah.
Because she doesn't look all right.
No.
You know, like the Doctor knows she's had like mental health problems, and she knows she's in love with her, and she's just rejected her. You've just left her on her own. You know, okay, she's surrounded by friends, but she's still abandoned her in this quite, fragile situation.
And she went above and beyond to save her life.
She did.
This was her best story for Yaz.
Yeah.
And she acted her socks off in this story.
Yeah. Brilliant, yeah.
Particularly in that scene when the Doctor realises, oh shit, I'm regenerating for the second time this story.
Yeah.
And she starts going, and she's really crying.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Jodie sheds a tear in that bit as well.
Oh, did she?
Just a very little one.
Which bit? Sorry.
When she holds her arm and it's regenerating. There's a little tear from Jodie, and then she's obviously welling up when she says
that was the heat, the lights in the studio.
Yeah, clearly. And then they have that little bit where she says, I can't remember what the line was, but a good friend once said to me, we're only sad about goodbyes because the bit before was so special or something. And there was a bit of like a Troutony, we're the only people.
It was like Troutony. Yeah.
And that was sweet.
That was good, yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if it's that Chris thought it was too much to have the Doctor, a lady Doctor smooch a lady. I don't know why they wouldn't have done it, because they would have done it with any other
Doctor would have done it.
Yeah. But it just didn't happen here, and I thought that was
Tennant would have had his tongue down her throat more times than
it would have happened in the first story. Yeah.
And he'd have been like, I was just trying to get a DNA reading off you.
Oh dear. Well, yeah. I mean, do we have anything else to say about the story? I've got some remarks from the fans.
We should probably talk about the companions.
Yes.
Alcoholics Anonymous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doctor Who companions.
Do you think it was a nice sort of collection? Like of the people that they got
that they could have.
Do you think there were any glaring omissions?
Most of them are dead, so they couldn't get many.
That's tricky. And of the ones who are from different time periods, obviously.
Yeah.
Like no Jamie, no Zoe.
Don't understand why Bonnie Langford was there, because Mel was left in the far future with Savile Glitch.
So that all went Pete Tom.
So there's obviously going to be a big Finnish adventure where that gets explained.
Yeah, obviously.
Or inevitably, we should say. Yeah, I mean, Ian was obviously fantastic seeing him. Because, really we've been saying for years, Ian should have been in this story, or he should have been in that story, and now finally he's done to come back.
Yeah,
that was good.
I thought
nice
it was
little line of...
a nice collection of them.
Katie Manning, you could hear
laughing a mile off.
It was so funny.
It was great.
It was good. It was a lovely little scene.
And I like Dan being there, just to kind of say, hey, I'm kind of new to this. I didn't travel with her for that long, but still left a good enough impression on me. And the line he uses when he drops her off, saying, I've got to go out and attack life now, and you've taught me that. I thought that was a nice bit. Like he's picked something up, and I mean, he hasn't got a house to go back to.
He hasn't.
And he's going to have to be sleeping on his parents' sofa for the foreseeable future. But there we go.
Poor bloke.
Yeah,
it went a bit tits up, didn't it? Really?
It did.
By the way, has anyone got anywhere I can live? Ian, you look loaded, mate. Come on, you've got that nice big house.
Yeah, no Babs, obviously. No reference to.
No reference to Babs.
No. And
it was nice that you got a line in there.
It was nice you got a line.
Yeah,
in
I'm glad about that.
Did you say she?
Yeah. That was good. I like that.
And the empty chair, or the chair that looked empty, that actually had a laptop on it.
Yeah. Annika Wills was supposed to be sat there.
Was she?
Apparently so. Apparently she pulled out at the last minute for whatever reason.
And so they just... Okay, somebody zooming in.
Yeah.
Mark Strickson zooming in from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Sat there.
I think K9 should have been there.
Yeah.
He's still in the UK.
I know.
Propped up on a little stool.
Yeah, they should have done that.
With a single little bit of oil leaking out from his eye. That would have been cute.
She literally, the doctor master literally replaced me with myself. I think comedians
talk about trauma. Oh my, no, let's not do that. We've got the regeneration coming up, but I think that kind of ties into what's going to come. So do you want to
have it before we talk about that? The big finale.
The big bit. Do you want to hear about what people had to say?
Let's hear what people had to say.
I think we've got a pretty broad church of people who watch our stuff.
Not that as well.
No, let's not talk about that. Of people who watch the stuff we do. So I was expecting, a fair amount of different opinions.
Yeah.
It may be just that it's very fresh in people's minds, but see what you think about this. Christopher Clark, a solid 7.5 out of 10.
What?
Big highs, Ace and 7, 6, 7 and 8 bickering, lol. Seeing Ian did bring a tear, although I thought the regen was beautifully done. It seemed a happy one this time, and finally the Doctor has learnt not to put the TARDIS in flight during regeneration. Sasha was awesome. Space Panda, loved it. Best regeneration story since Parting of the Ways, not including Night as a minisode. Johnny's hair standing on end.
No,
and delivered in ways I wasn't expecting. Story leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, we're all kind of in agreement with that one. But the moments more than made up for it. Fan service was on point. If only the 50th had been this good. Bradley Edward Charles, a mess narratively and structurally, but hit all of the right marks emotionally. I think, would we all agree with that statement? Is that a fair approximation?
Well, that it hit the emotional...
A mess narratively and structurally, but hit all the right marks emotionally.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's fair enough.
I agree.
Apart from Tasman.
Yeah.
Apart from the kind of, the thing you've been building.
Yes.
It is definitely not the strongest regeneration story, but far from the worst. 6 out of 10. Keith says the first 45 minutes were painful, and the last 45 I was crying a lot. Reminded me of exams, so 4 out of 10. Bunny Glaw, great roller coaster of a ride. Very Dimensions in Time. Is that
really?
What would you say, Johnny? Better or worse than Dimensions?
I'd like Dimensions in Time.
Yeah, John Pertwee's in that.
Yeah,
and
John and Tom. Yeah, don't forget.
Saskia.
And Sil's
in a good costume.
And then his scarf.
The scarf, by the scarf.
But at least he knew not to tuck his trousers in.
He knew what he was doing then.
He knew what he was doing. Saskia says the Adric catharsis, 40 years late, I ascended. Frazzles, it was a mixed bag. It did a fair few things right, but it didn't feel like a send-off to Jodie. Just an episode she happened to regenerate in. Outside of the regeneration, she didn't get a major explosive moment to herself, which I think is true. And finally, Ben O'Neill, it's flawed, really, really flawed, but I'd be lying if I said those flaws meant anything compared to the moments that had me smiling.
Interesting. Nice way of putting it.
I think that's a nice way of putting it. So, the regen.
Yeah.
What do we think of her speech?
Do you mean when she walks out and says that ridiculous line about...
Accurate.
Not that bit, the bit about the blossomiest blossom. That was appalling.
I didn't quite get where that came from.
That's obviously meant to be like the daisiest daisy line that John Pertwee says.
Is it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
I think so.
Really? I didn't like it. Tag you're it. I didn't like that. Matt did like that.
I thought I liked.
It was very in character.
It was very in character.
Yeah, to be fair, it is in character. I don't know. I just didn't like it.
I mean, the whole thing felt like such a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
After, well, first of all, the setting.
Which is where Christopher Fenrick is filmed.
Is it?
Yeah, the finale.
Yeah. Although actually they weren't there. It was all done on green screen.
Yes, you could see David Tennant was not there
where
they'd shot the Jodie bits.
Yeah.
No, she wasn't there either. That was all green screen.
That was all green screen.
Yeah.
There's something about the David bit that looked really off compared to Jodie's.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
I thought it looked. Maybe it was just the angle they shot it from with that
Could
crane
be.
shot
Yeah.
or something. But.
So I liked this different setting, that it wasn't in the TARDIS, that it wasn't them, oh, she's blown up the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Annoying, really, because this is the one TARDIS that actually deserved to get blown up, because it was so ugly and awful.
Although I do wish they'd actually regenerate lying down for a change.
Yeah.
I hate this standing up constantly. Come on.
I love it.
I
don't love it, I just love Johnny's reaction.
And just backtracking slightly, I also liked that whole sequence in the TARDIS with her and Yaz, that it was reversed. It was like a reversal of Parting of the Ways, where the Doctor got up confused.
Oh,
and was
yes,
like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And, it was that was sweet. But I liked the setting. I loved the fact that it wasn't some big, oh, woe is me, I'm going to die. But,
Doctor, I let you go.
And, she wasn't there for an hour saying...
Eulogizing.
Don't eat pears, don't do this. Don't,
just get on with it.
She just got on with it. And it was nice. It was very optimistic. It was like, oh, this has been fun.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to whoever comes next.
I wasn't fond of the tag you're it line on first broadcast, but afterwards thinking it's totally in line with her.
Yeah.
Because I always think of it, I was saying to Stella last night, it's difficult to view regenerations and big moments in the show like that without lining up all the other quotes and thinking of looking at it one by one after the other.
Yeah.
And I think, okay, the eulogizing from Peter was too much, but Doctor, I let you go is quite a nice line, and I will always remember when the Doctor was me.
I love Matt's
quite
line.
a nice
That's
line.
a sweet line.
And tag you're it next to all of that is an outlier, even compared to David and Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I'd sooner have tag you're it than I don't want to go.
I agree. I agree.
I don't want to go, but I'm gonna come back in a few years' time. Don't worry, just
But now thinking about it over the last 24 hours, I am much more fond of that line than I was when I first heard it. So
okay, fair enough.
I'm a fan. The regeneration itself and what came afterwards with the Doctor regenerating their outfit as well for the first time since Power of the Daleks.
Yeah. That's the Celestial Toymaker doing all that though, isn't it?
Is that what we're thinking?
Yeah.
Is that what we think is going to be?
I think so. I think the Celestial
thread
Toymaker
to the whole thing.
is like, ooh.
And it ended with a what?
Yeah, that's what we thought it would,
He's wearing a waistcoat.
He is.
That's really cool, isn't it?
I didn't expect that at all.
No.
But looks quite cool.
He looks good. I think I prefer him in this costume more than I did as his normal one.
It's more eccentric.
Yeah.
It's more Doctor Who-y. Because, why is his waistcoat buttoned up like that? And why is this tie hanging like that? Doesn't make any sense, but it's a Doctor Who outfit, so it kind of looks great.
I can't wait to find out the reasoning behind
I know.
all of this stuff. Why don't they just stick him back in his old costume? Well, I mean, he is the 14th Doctor.
Yes,
that
was very interesting. Yeah, 14th.
Did you read the press release?
We did, yes.
I'm going to read it for people at home if they didn't catch it. As Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor regenerated on Sunday the 23rd of October, it was none other than David Tennant who appeared as the 14th Doctor. But what led to the return of a much-loved face? With David Tennant and Catherine Tate reprising their roles for the 60th anniversary, it's been confirmed they will appear in 3 special episodes set to air in November 2023. A whole year with no Doctor Who.
I know.
Well. The next Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa, will then take control of the TARDIS with his first episode airing over the festive period in 2023. Do we think that's a one-off special or episode 1 of his series?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just a special before the series in the new year.
I mean, if you're shooting...
Because if he's got 3 in November, and then that seems like overkill.
Do you think?
I think so. I think 3 in November, Christmas one, wait then for the next season in 6 months' time, 8 months' time.
I kind of feel like if he's shooting in November this year, if he starts shooting in November this year, then will it not be ready to go for an episode 1 of a series around the festive time?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, didn't one of them, Jodie season's episode 1... Spyfall Part 1 was New Year's Day. So they could do it again. Talking about the future, Russell Davis says, if you thought the appearance of David Tennant was a shock, we've got plenty more surprises on the way. The path to Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor is laden with mystery, horror, robots, puppets, danger and fun. How is it connected to the return of the wonderful Donna Noble? How, what, why? We're giving you a year to speculate and then all hell lets loose. 3 special episodes will transmit in November 2023 as Doctor Who celebrates its 60th anniversary. So, Doctor number 14 and then 15.
Yeah.
And of course, we got a trailer.
Yes.
Were you expecting a trailer?
No.
Were you expecting Ncuti at the end of the episode rather than David?
No, I was expecting David.
Yeah.
I didn't think Ncuti was going to... I was more surprised to see Ncuti in the trailer.
Yeah, true.
Because I think is this not the first time since Christopher Eccleston we've seen an upcoming Doctor in a trailer rather than doing their first line.
Probably,
or like the actual trailer for their series. I mean, it's unprecedented. I thought, Ncuti Gatwa, he looks great. His delivery was fab.
Got the stash.
He's got a stash. The Doctor's got a stash.
So our dad being reincarnated.
Yeah, he'd be gutted that he missed out on Doctor Who having a moustache.
A mustachio Doctor.
Yeah.
He could have cosplayed as
Yeah.
It was really exciting, and just to get those first few glimpses of what, because we've obviously seen them filming, and
yeah, I mean, it was weird. It was like, oh, there's Bristol.
There's my Barbara's.
We were there.
There's
we were watching
Franco
it.
Manca. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're behind that food truck.
Yeah.
It was awesome, and the thing that I thought was really cool, because we kind of knew, obviously we knew Donna was back.
Yeah.
We knew David was back. We knew Ncuti was going to somehow dovetail into this. But to see the studio stuff, like the spaceship sets and David rolling under that thing. And
I saw that Jared Groves on Twitter said, oh, the controls on that spaceship look very small, like very low down, almost as if they're built for a little furry creature.
You never know. I mean, DWM may reveal all about that in November. We'll see.
Maybe maybe it won't. I don't think they're going to reveal Beat the Meep yet.
No,
not yet. But I think because it's so far away.
Yeah,
I think it will just be like David Tennant on the front in a costume.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be a little bit of a.
David Tennant is the Doctor again.
Yeah,
something like that.
I thought they should have put and reintroducing
the
Doctor
at the end.
That would have been cool.
Yeah,
that would have been cool.
Thank Gobshite again.
Smash.
So that was that. That's Jodie Whittaker's tenure as Doctor Who, done, dusted, on the table.
And she was outshone by Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Paul McGann, Sylvester McCoy, and David Tennant. Oh, and Ncuti Gatwa.
Yeah, disappointing.
Yeah, and Asen Tegan.
Yeah, she should
for
have been
the centenary. Special.
The big special.
She
should have been
very
better.
Disappointing.
It was gutting. For what she did, though, I thought she was great as always.
Did you? See, I said to Matt, I'm still not convinced by her overall. I have to say, I don't know. It's just not massively believable.
Okay. I think the trouble was so much of a dialogue in this story was exposition.
Yeah, it was exposition. This is the problem.
It's like, oh look, that's that child is hanging up in space.
Yes, that's right.
That child is actually a floating dust mite.
And then when she's talking to, she has basically the same conversation with Mandip, where she talks about the implant.
Yeah.
And she does that. That's a explainy thing.
Yeah.
And then she has exactly the same type of conversation with Tegan when she's trying to figure out how to blow up UNIT.
Yeah.
And then
how did Tegan not die? When
I don't know. How did that?
Yes, the rubble came down and she just stood there.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's the least of the problem.
That is true. That is the least.
I did like the cyber arm coming out through the wall.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
And Ace destroying the Dalek, like he remembers the Daleks.
With the baseball bat. And the reference to the fuse isn't long enough, and the Nitro 9 and all that kind of stuff.
That was good.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Lovely to have her jacket, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah.
And the baseball bat, that was fantastic.
You knew she was going to have a superhero moment where she got a costume out.
Yeah, superb.
That was
Why
really nice.
Why did she bring it with her? She was like, oh, it's just Sasha's in here. Why? Why have you got that with you?
Yeah.
I could have done without the Beyonce line,
Yeah.
But all that aside, it was a hot mess in the best and worst way possible. Is that a fair thing to say?
It was like someone had pooed on a plate and then sprinkled a bit of glitter on the top.
Okay. Take that. That's fine. We'll have that as the.
That's the tagline thing. Yeah. Very good.
I love it. That's the one word, the review, the one line review. From the review of Death on Jodie's final story. We've still got a bit more of Jodie to unpack because we've got the poll coming up, so we'll be able to find out in bits. We'll find out what you all thought of her tenure in sort of general.
I am so glad, like having looked at Twitter in the last 24 hours, I'm so glad that you decided not put The Power of the Doctor on the list. Because everyone would go, oh, The Power of the Doctor is the best story. It's terrible.
That was why, because the recency bias would have been way too strong. And I don't think it should be at the top of those lists.
No.
But, I had a fun time with the last sort of 45 minutes of it, but it was still watching it. I was like, it's all too much. It's too many plates spinning, and you just know, you have no faith that any of it is going to get resolved meaningfully or in a satisfying way. And that's not a criticism necessarily just of Chris Chibnall. We've said that about tons of new series.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But it had all the Chibnall hallmarks of sort of too much loaded into such a...
I think when we watched it, as soon as the first big caption of this whatever country, or this location, it was kind of like, oh, here we go.
It's this again.
But when you saw the synopsis, it's like, how does the Tsar Nicholas II come into this? Apparently that thing with the kid's illness is a reference to Queen Victoria and Tooth and Claw. It's a really deep cut reference to that. Yeah.
I don't believe Chris Chibnall would even... I mean, obviously the kid had haemophilia in real life.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think it's just a reference
just that,
to real life.
Historical
Twitter likes to take that shit and run with it, doesn't it? So there we go. That was that.
Yeah, well...
I'll be grading this.
What would you give it, Johnny?
3 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, Matt?
Yeah, I think I probably would about the same.
Yeah.
It's hard because I enjoyed the bits with the old Doctors.
Yeah, that's the 3. And Ace and Tegan and the companions. That's the 3 out of 10 bit.
Okay.
Yeah, and I like the end.
Yeah.
And I like the trailer.
Yeah.
And I like David Tennant. I mean, this is the thing. When David Tennant turned up, now everyone knows I don't like David Tennant as the Doctor, generally. But when he turned up, it was like,
Right.
It felt like a warm hug, sort of like, a safe pair of hands has returned.
That's not just David embracing you, that's also Russell, isn't it?
Exactly, it's that whole thing. But obviously David is the symbol of that era. And, obviously there were things that I didn't like about the 10th Doctor's era.
Yeah.
We talked about Doctor's Daughter the other day, and, we chat on that. But, on the whole, it was a far more coherent, far more...
solid.
Yeah. You sort of knew what you got.
Yeah.
And, right, for every...
The fundamentals were kind of there.
But there.
Yeah, at its core.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Good. What would you rate this out of 10 then, this story?
Yeah, probably 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10? I'd go for like a 5.5 verging on a 6. But
wow.
I mean...
That's quite high, Billy.
Yeah, I know, but I'm kind
How many times have you watched this?
Twice.
Same as us. Well, we watched it 1.5. We skipped through bits, didn't we, the second time?
Right.
We did the highlights.
The highlights. Yeah.
I'm kind of gutted that I've given it that lower score. Not because of this story in particular.
No.
I'm just disappointed that
the
final episode was so jam packed, and you want to make it an epic. You want to make it big. But it didn't serve the person that it was meant to serve, and that was Jodie Whittaker. I don't care if it's a centenary special.
Yeah.
You can bring all the old buggers back you like, but fundamentally, this is Jodie Whittaker's swan song, and she had moments which were really nice.
Yeah.
And the whole of the last sort of closing bit with her and Yaz and the conversations they had in her regeneration, I thought were great. But on the whole, it just didn't feel like it was serving her well enough.
Can you imagine if JNT had sat down with Tom Baker and gone, so Tom, we're kind of thinking that we might bring back John Pertwee and Patrick Troughton for your final story. Fuck off! I'm not having those old bastards in this. I'm Tom Baker, I'm the Doctor, right?
Yeah, she was, the first female Doctor was overshadowed by all the old buggers, by all the old blokes coming back. But, that was...
Peter Davison going, and you were doing so well.
Yes, that's a great line, yeah.
Oh, there we go. Well, that was the power of the Doctor. Jodie Whittaker's
What was
swan
the power
song,
of the Doctor?
Yeah.
Friendship.
Oh no! Don't give me that old shite.
But it was, wasn't it? I don't, but that's kind of what it.
Fam.
Extended fam.
Oh yeah, extended fam.
Yeah. Oh. Don't worry, Johnny. It's all over now.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's gone. So the next thing that you'll see from us will be the parting of the ways.
Yeah.
Which is a great regeneration story.
Yes.
So you can hear us gushing all over the place about that. And then obviously at some point in the future we'll be running down the Jodie Whittaker era in its entirety, minus Power of the Doctor, and we'll see what you guys thought of it, generally speaking.
Yeah.
There we go.
In that case, we'll see you next time for Christopher Eccleston Times. Goodbye.
Bye.